Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers, and I hope you all are doing well. We've got another riding mower today. We've got a Craftsman YS4500. Close down the hood and we'll give this thing a quick overview. I picked this up the other day for $100. It is running and driving. It is a bit noisy driving. This is a hydrostatic transmission, and I think one of the idlers, the bearing needs some grease in it. I believe this is a 2007 Craftsman YS4500. It comes with the hydrostatic foot pedal transmission. This one has the cruise control on it. Comes with the switch for the headlights. It is a manual PTO. We've got a 46-inch cutting deck on here. That is dual blade. It's got the 4 anti-scalp wheels. Versatile time saver. Got the cast iron front end, and I did also check the spindles on this one are the greasable spindles, which is really nice. The Craftsman exclusive Intech Plus 21 horse single. Overall, pretty good looking machine. I think it's just, you know, been used pretty well over the years and wasn't neglected too bad, so I think this should clean up and look pretty good when we get all done. The seat is separated. Tires look pretty good. The 2 in the front, he did put in the ad, lose air overnight, and I can definitely confirm that because I had it on the trailer and they were flat as could be. Put this parking brake on. It's already on. Let's see if it'll start without choke. I did crank it earlier just to see. There is a little bit of fuel in the tank. Can't really beat that for $100. Like I said, it does drive, but as soon as you let off from the brake or the clutch and the hydrostatic belt tightens up, you can hear one of those pulleys underneath groaning. I think we did a Husqvarna a while back that had basically the same issue. I will get this pulled in here. I think though, before I pull it in, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the deck down off from it. That way we can kind of get a good look at everything, and I know I'd like to get a good look at those pulleys. On here we're just gonna have a few pins. We've got the cable, got we've got one underneath of the footrest right here. We've got our front hanger that needs to come off, and then we've just got the 2 on the other side, and just getting that PTO cable off. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the deck. We'll get this pulled in the shop and we'll start taking a look at everything. All right, got the shop cleared out, got the mowing deck off. Overall, it looks like it's in really good shape, besides being dirty and packed with crud down here, but that's where a lot of times that rust is gonna be hiding. So we'll find out when we start getting to that. Obviously, we'll check all the spindles and pulleys on there and make sure it's moving freely and everything sounds good. I'll let you guys hear this transmission on here as well. So we'll get this pulled into the shop. And we'll go ahead and get the hood off from here, give us a little better access. We just got the light harness and then just have to tilt it slightly back, lift up, hood's off. I did forget to mention earlier too that I checked the oil right off the bat, and it's very clean, but I know it was a little bit low, at least when I checked it the other day. So it shouldn't have gained any. Yeah, it's probably about a 1/8 of an inch from the low mark, so we need to add some oil, but it is clean. And also, I'll show you guys the air filter. It has some dirt on this pre-filter, but you can tell that this was changed not too long ago, so that tells me right off the bat that this machine has at least had some service done on it. Let's go ahead and get the machine up in the air, and we'll take a look at those idler pulleys underneath and see if we've got some crunchiness. Got the boss man over here watching me, keeping a close eye on things. Alright, had to get some new batteries for my headlamp so we could all see a little something down here. Normally what you're gonna have is the issue is we've got 3 idlers. You got belt coming off the engine, and then this is a flat idler, this is a V idler, and another V idler. And we've got our diagram right here, but I did spin them. Let's see if I can get this belt loose off from here. That one's noisy. Alright. That one's a little less noisy, but still noisy. Could make a tune with that, right? We've got 3 different noise levels. We got not so bad, a bit noisy, and then we got super noisy. So what I'm gonna do is I'll go ahead and pop these off from here. I'll get them out, and we'll get the dust shields off from those bearings. Take a look to see if they are savable, and if they are, we'll just repack them with grease. Alright, well, I had this little cup of some used gas, and I went through and cleaned that all out. Got all the grit out. As you guys can hear, there's basically no noise at all, so this one should still be good, and the pulley itself was still in good shape, so we'll repack it, put the dust seal back on, and then we'll knock out the other 2. So I'm not going to show you guys the other 2, same process, but I'll go ahead and put a little grease in here. We should be good to go. So you can save yourself, you know, however much this pulley costs by just cleaning it and putting some fresh grease in there. Okay, I got all of the pulleys back on and greased, and they all feel pretty good. I just used the impact to take them off and put them back on. It was a 9/16 for all 3 of those, and I also wanted to, while I had this up in the air, we'll go ahead and grease the front end here, and then we'll drop this thing down and see how it sounds. I'm just gonna leave the hood off from now. Pushing grease out the back. I'll leave the hood off for now because I want to do some pressure washing after this, so we can kind of get a better idea as to what's going on, get a good look at everything. I can actually see the grease filling up in that cap. It's kind of transparent a little bit. Alright, don't forget, put in your hydrostatic engagement. I don't even know how much gas was in here. It's enough. Nice and quiet. That is so much quieter. Any pulley noise All right, well, I normally don't show the pressure washing process because it takes forever, but I did get most of this done. A lot of times I have to go over the machines a couple times. Like, I'm already starting to see where the water's drying and there's still like some green algae on the foot pedal, and I got to get behind the axle. There's still some grease and stuff there. I like to take the headlight lenses out and clean in there as well. That way when I buff these, everything will look good. And a lot of people have been asking me, you know, what products do I use? Right now I'm just using some Simple Green, some car wash soap. I've got that little pump sprayer to spray on the degreaser, and I've got a electric pressure washer that I got from the landfill. I will probably make a full-length video on how I detail these and get them ready to go, because I have had quite a few people ask me. But I'm gonna finish getting this cleaned up. We'll pull it back on the shop and we'll move forward from there. And I was pulling this back into the shop from pressure washing. It started to surge and kind of backfire and pop and was not running good at all, and barely glimpsed it from just across the yard. The guy did say that he was having some issues with his carburetor, so I am going to try to just flush the gas out of that one and see if it's going to work. But I do have another one over there that I've been testing the needle and seat on to make sure it's going to work. Yeah, I also want to take this tank off. It's just the 2 bolts, and clean that out. We'll see if it's still doing it today. I'll let y'all listen to it. Yeah, you guys can see having some fuel issues, so let me go ahead and get this tank pulled off and drain all that out, and then we'll kind of take a peek at this carburetor. All right, well, I got the tank all cleaned up, outside and the inside. I went in here with a paper towel, wiped it all out, and then blew through it with compressed air. I've got the original line, fuel line, still on here. This one was nice and flexible. Also didn't look like there was any issue with the internal part of the hose coming apart. New fuel filter, new fuel line here, and I have not put any gas in it yet, but we will go ahead. I'll add a splash in there. I'll put y'all on the tripod, and then we'll take the anti-backfire valve off and kind of just flush that out a little bit, and hopefully we'll have this fuel issue solved. If not, got another carburetor, and we'll have a good clean fuel system, and then we can move forward with probably getting the deck situated and go from there. Go ahead and disconnect the power to that. And I've just got a little glass jar here we're gonna sample it with. Interesting, I don't think we've got any flow coming out of here. There we go. It almost looked like the fuel that was in here before was like 2-stroke gas. It was almost green. I do not see anything other than there was a little bit of some debris that came out. So I think we should be pretty good with that. We'll try to crank this back up now real quick with no choke. Right, I think we got that issue solved. I'm getting ready to go and pressure wash this. I did show you guys before how much stuff is caked up in here. So we'll find out if there's any rust holes underneath of that. I did check the pulleys. This one is a little noisy, so I'm probably going to take that one off, grease the bearing, and then we will put some fresh grease in these spindles as well, and then see if we've got to do any kind of work other than that on the deck. All right, I've got it pretty well prepped here. I'm just gonna do the bearing here in a few minutes, but it's starting to get dark out and I'm gonna have to spray this tomorrow. But I did go and scuff the entire deck, and I took that wire wheel, as you guys saw. I got most of that. I've got most of the big spots of raw metal primered, and then I sanded down this spot right here down to bare metal, along with the end of the belt guide. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack that into place and then get that welded up. I also masked off the sticker here for the deck and cleaned everything up. So as soon as I get this tacked into place, I'm gonna go ahead and throw some paint on it, and I'll show you guys when I'm done. And I've got 2 coats laid down on here, and this deck looks much better. Now I'll just let this dry up. Got to finish up on that pulley and getting that chute done, and then we'll see what's next. Alright guys, well, it's been a couple of days since I've been able to work on this machine, and I was doing a little tinkering. I was trying to remember exactly where I was at. I am on the 3rd carburetor on this machine, and it seems to be running pretty well now. The second one that I put on, I believe, had an idle jet issue, and regardless of how many adjustments I made on it, it just would continue to surge. So I did put another good one on here off a running machine, and I think we're pretty well set. So where we are at right now, I have started to work a little bit on just doing some touch-up. I don't know if you guys can see that little plate was all rusted out, and so I scuffed that down, removed it. It was just 4 bolts on the bottom. Removed it, sanded it down, and painted it. I also did a little bit of some touch-up paint on those spots where the paint had flaked off. It should blend a bit better when I get this side panel cleaned up and get some polish on there. This one had a big spot, so hopefully I'll be able to get that to blend and look pretty darn good. I also touched up all of the lettering here. I just did that with a white paint pen. Also on the dash as well, because all this was off. It was just all gray. So I just wanted it to look nice, and that's what it looked like from factory. I did glue the seat down. Unfortunately, the front started to kind of peel back on me, so I am going to have to do that again, but I did get a seat cover on for now. And I have also painted the back panel on here. I normally try to avoid the stickers if I don't mask them off, and then wherever I get some overspray on it, I will take some gas or some acetone and wipe it across the sticker, and that will take that paint right off. Kind of helps sometimes saving time with masking, and it will look just as good too when you clean up the sticker. So the deck is painted. I've got that reassembled. I've got the chute back on here. I was able to put a clip on there to keep the pin in there. So that is all set now. This idler is good on here. I have a set of used blades that I'm going to be putting on. I just need to sharpen those, and then I'll just go ahead and mount the deck and then raise it on the lift and then install those blades. So at this point, I am going to start cleaning up the machine as far as polishing and getting some stuff on the plastics. And I have a lot of people always asking me what I use. Currently I'm just using this Meguiar's Ultimate Compound and a buffer, and then on the plastics I use ATF, automatic transmission fluid. You guys can see and hear how rough this paint is. It's just been cooked out in the sun for a long time, so keep in mind what this looks like, what the headlights look like. really faded out. Plastics are really faded. And I am gonna get to work on buffing it, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done with that. And then we'll go ahead and get the deck installed, and we should be pretty well set to start testing everything out and making sure we're good. I've got to slime the tires still, but I did pick up a gallon of slime, and I'm gonna go ahead and get that in there as well. So, all right, well, I got the deck mounted back up on here yesterday, and then I was putting the blades on here this morning and realized we've got another issue that I did not anticipate before. I don't know, I was trying to get it out here in the light so you guys could really see, but trying to wiggle this blade. Hold on, let me bring it up a little bit. Basically, I think we've got a totally shot bearing in this spindle. I don't know if y'all can see that wiggle there, but it has a ton of slop in it, wiggling this thing up and down. So deck's gonna have to come back off, and we'll have to see what kind of carnage we got going on inside that spindle. I'm hoping I have another bearing for it. If not, I'm gonna have to order one, but get it off and we'll break that spindle down and see what we got going on. Grease zerk should be 5/16. Now let me get the hammer out and start tapping this thing out. I'll show y'all when I get it out of here. Alright, well, I got everything off. I got that pulley, and then I gave it a few taps and it broke loose. So, oh, it would help if I took the nut off, wouldn't it? Alright. Helps when you actually take the nut off the other side, doesn't it? Because I don't think there's any bearing left on this. I think that might be some of the bearing case right there. The inside race of the bearing is there, and the outside's still in there, but there is nothing left. All those ball bearings are gone. I'm gonna have to check the top bearing too. What I'm gonna have to do is probably come from the top side with a punch, and I'm gonna have to knock that outer race out of the spindle and then figure out how I'm gonna get that part off. If I need to, I can cut that off with a Dremel too, but first off I gotta find a bearing. I have a nice rotted out 42-inch Craftsman deck with the same spindles on it, and I checked the bearings on this. They seem to be free of any play, and I went ahead and knocked the bottom bearing out of that one, and I will show you guys what we've got. So we have two separate bearings on this deck. You have the upper, and this one is a, I'll try to put it in text for y'all. This is a 623-2DLRS. Then the lower one, the bigger one that I needed, is a 6204 2DLRS. And I went ahead and took the dust seal off from this, re-greased it, and we should have a nice bearing to go in there. Now this is the one from the upper on here. I was just checking it out and tapped it out, so should be able to, I'll go ahead and get these installed. They have little lip on the inside of each part of the spindle, so you can't go farther than you need to, but just to make sure they bottom out, and then just reassembling. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this one as well, because I did notice it has a little bit, not nearly as much as the other one, but since I'm down here and I'm tearing this whole thing apart, I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's 100% ready to go. So yeah, just figured I'd let y'all know with the bearings on here. They are two different sizes, and hopefully these part numbers help. I did look up these bearings, the bigger ones. They were a 2-pack on Amazon for 10 bucks. So instead of having to buy the whole spindle, you can just get new bearings as well. So let me get these in here and we will be able to finally start moving ahead. All right, well, I've got everything tightened back down on here. I've got virtually no play. That's about what I normally feel as far as any kind of play in the bearings. And you guys can hear or not hear. It's really quiet. So I think we are good with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the other one, and then we'll get the deck mounted back up and see where we're at from there. Kind of in the shade over there, but you guys can see has a really nice shine to it now. If y'all remember before, let's see if I can get a glare on it. It definitely still has some scratches. I tried to get out as much as I could. Went through the headlights on it, buffed those, cleaned the insides. It has new LED lights in the front. We have slimed the front tires. We fixed the grass chute on here. Bearing changes on the spindles. We also had to re-grease one of the idler pulleys on the deck. New blades, or used blades that were at least straight, and now they are balanced and sharpened. I leveled the deck on here, put fresh oil in it, has a good air filter, went through 3 carburetors. This is number 3 on here. New fuel filter, but it is running good. It is charging the battery. Everything seems to be good. Level deck. I did just make a couple little test cuts with it just to double check everything. So without further ado, we're gonna crank it up, take it around for a little test drive, and then I'll put you guys on the tripod and we'll cut some grass with it. Check on the blade brakes a little bit. They are slow. Overall, she's running good though. Everything's working as advertised. So let me get y'all on the tripod and we'll cut some grass. All right, well, I really appreciate y'all checking out the channel and seeing what things are about here. I think I might incorporate some different stuff here coming up soon. I know I keep saying the 0 turns, and I know that some of them are probably gonna be multi-part series, and fall is coming, so I know there's gonna be a lot of people that are trying to get their chainsaws out and their blowers and everything like that. So I'm gonna try to find some fun stuff for everybody and some things we can all learn from. Overall, I think this turned out great. Good looking machine, and I think that it will be very reliable for somebody. I just got a couple more things. I just want to make sure it's 100%. I'd like to make sure that machines are good and customers happy. So let me know what you guys think, what this would sell in your area. I know we're coming to the end of the grass season, but you know, let me know what you guys think, and we'll take it from there. So on that note, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I will see you all next time.